The Whispering House. In the small town of Glenwood, nestled between dark woods, stood an old, abandoned house. The locals whispered about it in hushed tones, warning anyone who dared venture too close. The house had stood empty for over a decade, its windows shattered, and its paint peeling away like old flesh. It was said that whoever entered would hear whispers in the walls, strange voices that carried through the silence of the night. Eleanor, a curious and brave young woman, didn't believe in such superstitions. One evening, after hearing tales from the townsfolk at the local diner, she decided to investigate. Armed with only a flashlight and a camera, she set out towards the infamous house. The closer she got, the colder the air became, an unnatural chill that crept beneath her skin. As she reached the front gate, the wind suddenly stopped. There was an eerie stillness in the air, and the house seemed to be waiting for her. The front door creaked as she pushed it open. Inside, dust and decay covered every surface. The smell of mildew and something more pungent clung to the air. The floorboards groaned beneath her feet as she ventured further into the house, the beam of her flashlight cutting through the darkness. She stepped into the living room and froze. On the far wall was a large, cracked mirror. In its reflection, she could see herself, but there was something else. A shadow. A tall, thin figure stood just behind her, its features indistinct, but its presence undeniable. Eleanor spun around, but the room was empty. Her heart raced, and she turned back to the mirror. The shadow was gone. Then she heard it, a faint whisper from behind her. "Leave now." The voice was soft, almost like a breath against her ear. Eleanor's eyes widened in fear, but she shook her head, telling herself it was just her imagination. She was about to leave when the whispers grew louder, surrounding her from all sides, muttering unintelligibly. "Leave now." This time the voice was angry, almost desperate. She backed away slowly, her flashlight trembling in her hand. But just as she reached the door, the whispers stopped, replaced by a loud bang from upstairs. Frozen with terror, Eleanor turned toward the staircase that led up to the second floor. The house seemed to breathe, its very foundation groaning under an invisible weight. Then, something new, a low, guttural growl, like a creature lurking in the shadows. Eleanor didn't know what she was more afraid of, the thing upstairs or the whispers that grew even more frantic around her. She couldn't stay here. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut in front of her with a deafening bang. The room darkened, and her flashlight flickered out, leaving her in complete blackness. The whispers returned, but now they were no longer words. They were screams. "Leave! Get out!" Suddenly, a cold hand gripped her shoulder. She spun around, but nothing was there. A voice, clear and chilling, came from the dark. "You should have never come." Eleanor screamed, but the house swallowed the sound. The next morning, when the townspeople went looking for her, all they found was her flashlight lying in the doorway, its beam still shining into the blackness. And in the reflection of the shattered mirror, they saw her, her terrified face, staring back at them, her mouth open in a silent scream.